Okay, you will soon have a memory quiz where I will say to you, draw the unit circle, and those will be your only instructions. You don't have to do everything that I'm about to do here. So, to start drawing the unit circle, a unit circle is a circle with radius 1 at the origin. So, 1, 1, -1, -1, and draw a circle. Hopefully it's good. Beautiful. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start in the first quadrant, and then we'll just use symmetry to fill in the rest. So let me first focus on the first quadrant here. You need to draw 3 points. Those are 30, 45, and 60. We also need to know those numbers in radians. This is pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3. Pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3. Now, the points themselves, everything is over 2. And for the numerators, it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Look at the x-coordinates. The first, if I go along the x-axis, the first point that I encounter is this one right here. So that's the smallest x-coordinate, 1, 2, 3. And then the y's are going to be the opposite, right? If I start up, the first point I encounter is the y, oh, right there. There's the smallest y-coordinate out of these 3 points. That's the lowest point. So that's 1, 2, 3. Put your numerators in a square root. Now, the square root of 1 is just 1, so I don't need it there. So if your numerator is not 1, we have to keep that square root. Okay? And that is the first quadrant, and all of the other points are symmetric to these. All of them will be copies of these. We'll have to change signs around or something like that. But that's it. That's the only difference. So let's do the 3 other points over here. Okay, I'm just going to copy. Now symmetrical, this one is symmetrical to the 30-degree one. Okay, symmetrical to the 30-degree one. So that's going to be square root 3 over 2 and 1/2. And I just need to make the x-coordinate negative. Okay, so in the second coordinate, I'm just making the x-coordinate negative. It's an x-axis flip to get those points over here. Okay, so let's see. Square root 2 over 2, square root 2 over 2, x-coordinate negative. 1/2 square root 3 over 2, make the x-coordinate negative. There we go. Okay, now, again, thinking of symmetry, these have to total to pi or 180. They have to total to pi or 180. So 30 plus what gives me 180? 150. Pi over 6 plus what gives me pi? That's 5 pi over 6. 45 plus 135. Pi over 4 plus 3 pi over 4. Okay, so I just want basically 1/6 plus what will give me 1? 5/6. 1/4 plus 3/4 is 1. 1/3 plus 2/3 is 1. 60 plus 120 is 180. Or pi over 3, 2 pi over 3. So if you look across, those values that are symmetric to each other, these two, the angles have to add up to 180, and the radians have to add up to pi. Okay, 180 and pi, and so they do all the way around. So I'm just using symmetry here to write out these points. Let's do 3 more down here. So let's see, this will be down here, both the x and the y coordinate will be negative. So I'm going to copy this point, y-axis flip. It's going to make that 1/2 negative, y-axis flip. You can see this is not drawn to scale. This is not halfway up to 1. I'm just trying to get my points in here. Just trying to make a point. Oh my gosh, I'm so awesome. Woo! Okay, so let's see. This is going to be negative square root 3 over 2. And negative 1/2. This will be negative square root 2 over 2 and negative square root 2 over 2. And this will be negative 1/2 and negative square root 3 over 2. Right there. I'm getting a little bit off there. Okay. Now, I could I think the easiest way to label these three are to add 180 to these ones up here. So like 30 plus 180 is 210. And pi over 6 plus 180, or pi over 6 plus pi, well, pi over 6 plus pi is 6 pi over 6, or 1/6 plus 1 is 7/6. 45 plus 180, let me think, that's one, no, hang on, plus 180. 180, that's going to be 5, 8 and 4 is 2, 225. Or pi over 4 plus pi, plus pi is 1 1/4, or 5/4 pi. Up here, 60 plus 180, 18 plus 6 is 24, 240. Pi over 3 plus pi is 4 pi over 3. Okay, almost there. Almost there. Okay, let me see here. Here, the x coordinates are positive and the y coordinates are negative. Maybe I could just flip this point down, or this point. Right? These are both the same. You know, you're just going to make one of those coordinates negative, the right one. So the y coordinate will be negative. So here it's 1/2 and, right, yes, and negative square root 3 over 2. And here it is, let me see, square root 2 over 2 and negative square root 2 over 2. Here it's going to be, what is that, square root 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. Okay, and what's the easiest way to get those measures and degrees for the fourth quadrant? Okay, in the second quadrant we saw we'll add up to 180. To get the third quadrant, I added 180 to these. To get the fourth quadrant, I think I'll just subtract them from 360, or 2 pi. Okay, so what's 30 less than? This is really like negative 30, right? So negative 30 plus 360 is 330. And 2 pi minus pi over 6, oh man, this is a math problem. Maybe I could just add, yeah, I could just add pi to this one. So 5 plus 6 is 11 pi over 6. There we go. Okay, so even I'm going to be embarrassed. It would take me half a calorie to subtract. So instead I just added. And maybe I could do that. Just add from these points right here, add 180 or just pi to give me these points. Or subtract from 360. I think for the degrees it'll be easier to subtract. For the radians it'll be easier to add. So let me do the degrees first. 360 minus 45 is 315. 360 minus 60 is 300. Now to get the degrees and radians, 2 pi over 3 plus 3 over 3, that's going to be 5 pi over 3. Right, yes, 4 pi. Oh, yeah. 5 pi over 3. I was just kind of double checking. 1/3 pi, 2/3 pi, 3/3 pi is right here, 4/3 pi, and 5/3 pi. And 6/3 pi will be there. Anyway, I just like saying thirds pi apparently. Okay, one more. 3 pi over 4 plus 4 pi over 4 plus pi gives me 7 pi over 4. So that is the unit circle labeled in degrees and radians with the associated points. Holy mackerel. That's a beautiful thing, though, once you have it.